Hey, good Thursday morning, John. Pastor Harold. Today's up to the sun for the 27th of February. We're in First Corinthians, starting in chapter 11 on this Thursday morning. And you should imitate me just as I imitate Christ. I am so glad that you always keep me in your thoughts and that you are following the teachings I pass on to you. But there is one thing I want you to know. The head of every man is Christ, the head of every woman is man, and the head of Christ is God. A man dishonors his head if he covers his head while praying or prophesying. But a woman dishonors her head if she prays or prophesies without a covering on her head, for this is the same as shaving her head. Yes, if she refuses to wear a head covering, she should cut off all her hair. But since it is shameful for a woman to have her hair cut or hair shaved, she should wear a covering. A man should not wear anything on his head in worshiping, for a man is made in God's image and reflects God's glory, and woman reflects man's glory. For the first man didn't come from woman, but the first woman came from man. A man was not made for woman, but woman was made for man. For this reason, and because the angels are watching, a woman should wear a covering on her head to show she is under authority. But among the Lord's people, women are not independent of men, and men are not independent of women. For although the first woman came from man, and every other man was born from a woman, and everything comes from God. Judge for yourself. Is it right for a woman to pray to God in public without covering her head? Isn't it obvious that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair? And isn't long hair a woman's pride and joy? For it has been given to her as a covering. But if anyone wants to argue about this, I simply say that we have no other custom than this, and neither do God's other churches. So this here is Paul talking about imitating him and how he is that he's imitates Christ, and he talks about how man was made in God's image, and then woman was created out of man. It talks about coverings and how to pray in public. There's certain things that are, he says, customs, and again, this is kind of like I think earlier he talks about a custom that was developed in the church, but I don't see and I haven't seen any actual like this will be. This is a writing of his. He doesn't say God said, but he talks about like one thing I've seen here that does because the women wearing coverings gets brought up a lot, but I don't really hear many people that it's disgraceful for a man to have long hair, and I've seen even pastors have long hair. So this hair thing is a custom of the church in that time, and not wearing a head covering or wearing a head covering because the Jewish people still wear a head covering, the men do, and it is not found anywhere in the law, and I don't remember seeing it in any of the red letters. But it is what he is saying here is it is a custom in God's church. I simply say that we have no other custom than this, and neither do God's other churches. So he's saying that following this custom is what he was writing in the letter to the Corinthians. But the important thing I think here is that we strive to honor God in our prayer, strive to honor God in who we're under, because he goes into that is that that man is his head is Christ, and Christ's head is God, and that the hierarchy that there is, and it's important that we understand that it's not a dictatorship in a marriage. That it's not the woman serving the man. They are a partnership with the responsibility of the household falling on the man. It's just, but the man has a responsibility of caring and loving and respecting his wife as well, and not just like putting under the thumb. And so it's important that we respect one another. We respect God's creation. He said in Genesis, he says that God made them male and female in his own image. So very important to understand that God is God is God, and He created all of us, so we should respect one another and love one another. With that, I'm going to let you guys go. I'm going to pray real quick, and then we'll close for Thursday. Father God, thank you for the blessings of today. Thank you for the message. Just ask that each person continues to pray and seek answers for their faith and how it intervenes in their lives, and that we love one another as you asked us to, and remember that each person was created in God's image, and we need to conduct ourselves in such a way that we know that the Creator created them. I ask, Lord, that you continue to bless us and to heal the sick among us and those that are grieving. We lift them up for your hands and ask to put a hedge of protection around us as we continue to move in this world. And Lord, just continue to work on our church and my personal life, that you know what my petitions are, and just ask that you hear and answer our prayers.